Season 4 of Marvel Rivals is almost here, and the meta is shifting all over again. With the arrival of the new flying Vanguard Angela, alongside a wave of buffs and nerfs, the strongest heroes are about to look very different. And in today's video, I'm breaking down the 10 biggest winners across tanks, DPS, and supports so you know exactly which heroes are worth mastering and grinding this season. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to see amazing content each and every other day. But that's enough about that, let's dive straight into the video. Now, my first big winner of Season 4 has to be Doctor Strange. Now, you might be wondering why the Sorcerer Supreme. Well, he's getting some insane changes. First, they're reducing his Maelstrom of Madness cooldown from 8 to 6 seconds. This is his big burst of damage he gets when charging up that little meter. Basically, that 8 to 6 second change means he should never be getting antied by his dark energy at 100 charge, because you should be always able to cleanse it once you have the Maelstrom of Madness ability up. He's also getting his base health reduced from 600 to 575. However, that doesn't really matter because he still has his anchor bonus of 100 bonus HP with the Scarlet Magic team up. So he sits at 675 HP now rather than 700 or whatever it was previously. And with some nerfs to some of Doctor Strange's biggest counters like Emma Frost, that they increase the Diamond Form cooldown from 15 seconds to 18. I think Strange is going to be getting picked a lot more now, not just for overtime last second portals, but just to walk out a spawn with this character, because don't get me wrong, this character does an insane amount of burst damage, has a great ultimate, and definitely can carry the momentum when need be. So if you're looking for a Vanguard to learn or pick up come Season 4, I highly encourage you to give a good look or give a good try at playing Doctor Strange. Now for our second big winner, it has to be Magic. Now, even though Magic is losing her team up in Season 4, her anchor bonus, the removal of 15% damage, they're giving her some pretty nice buffs. They're reducing her charge time required for the magic slash maximum damage from 1.8 seconds to 1.2. Her magic slash also has a new effect where the projectile now pierces enemies and reduces the stepping disc cooldown by 1 second per enemy pierce, which is absolutely insane. They're also increasing the Soul Sword damage from 65 to 75 damage, increasing the Eldritch World damage from 45 to 50, and increasing the Demon's Rage damage per hit from 18 to 20. Not only that, they're also increasing the melee normal attack damage from 30 to 40 damage. But wait, there's more. During the Dark Child ultimate ability, they're increasing the Eldritch World single hit damage from 35 damage to 45, and the Umbral Incursion damage from 135 to 140. So some pretty nice buffs, even though she is losing that team up anchor bonus. Now she's a big winner because she's receiving all of these nice changes. She also is getting a team up with Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch. So Doctor Strange is going to be getting played a lot more now because I said he was my big winner for the first slot. Because he's going to be getting played now, Magic is going to have that team up a lot of the time, and I think that team up is absolutely insane. So I think these changes all in all, especially with the team up, just allow Magic to shine a lot more now. Magic is a very technical character. She requires a lot of practice, I would say, in my opinion. She has a lot of combos to master, and I think the person or the player who fits this playstyle will definitely find success on this character. And if you're a Magic player back in Season 0 and you've been waiting for some type of change to Magic to come back to the game, Season 4 is definitely the season of Magic, so I highly encourage you to maybe update the game, log back on, and check it out come Season 4. Now, I already have a lot of comps in my head that I think will be centering around a Magic player, whether it's a Magic Phoenix, a Magic Psylocke, any sort of those combinations. The Magic is definitely going to be shining come Season 4, like I said, so definitely encourage you to pick it up. Now, moving on to our third biggest winner come Season 4, it goes to a strategist position, and that strategist has to be Invisible Woman. Sue Storm is finally getting some much needed love besides a beach skin. She's also getting some insane buffs to her kit. So for Invisible Woman, they're going to be increasing the slow effect to enemies passing through the Guardian Shield, which is her right click, the individual shield, from 30% to 35%. Now, a 5% change doesn't seem like a lot, but trust me, after trying it in the early access, it definitely is a massive change. Secondly, they're increasing the invisible boundary ultimate ability healing per second from 165 to 180. Now, me personally, I already thought it was at 180, but having it now at 180 is a great thing. Just to put into perspective, Mantis's ultimate was 150 healing per second, so this is a big change to Invisible Woman. The ultimate is also going to be getting a new effect. It's going to be slowing enemies within the radius or within the range of the ultimate by 20%, which is a big, massive change as well. Now, because no changes are being made to the Human Torch, I think that character is still going to be running rampant. Therefore, I think Invisible Woman is going to be getting played even more so now, especially because she got the buff she so desperately needed, and she still has the team up for the Human Torch to give him that huge, diving pressure, that huge living pressure, basically keeping the Human Torch alive at all means. And I think, again, because of the buffs coming to the character, she's going to be picked even more so now, so that team up is definitely something to be watching out for. Now, before we dive into our fourth tutorial, just a quick little reminder, do me a favor, remember to subscribe and like the video. This greatly helps out the channel. I would love to do this YouTube content full time, and I need your support to get to that point. Sorry for interrupting the video, let's get back into it. Now, for our fourth biggest winner, it has to be Magneto. Now, Magneto somehow remained unchanged come Season 4, but I do think Magneto is one of those unnecessary evils for the game, for his kit, but I do think they should at least adjust his primary and secondary damage. But again, I think this character is too mainstream and too iconic that you can't really change it. The character is insane, let's be honest. Again, I think he's a big winner because he didn't receive any changes, and I think they are nerfing some of his counters, like Emma Frost in my opinion, by increasing the diamond form cooldown from 15 seconds to 18. So he's definitely going to be seeing a lot more play, even so than he used to. Look, he was pretty much picked every single game, with the exception of one or two. Maybe he's picked 98% of the time rather than 95% of the time. But again, still a super solid tank, still a super solid Vanguard, and I don't think Magneto is going anywhere anytime soon. Moving straight into our fifth hero, it's going to be another duelist, and look, this character, for whatever reason, is getting a buff, and that is a Winter Soldier. Bucky is getting a handy improvement to his close quarters control. Look, the character was already decent, pretty good, probably one of the better DPS in the game, but he's getting an even bigger buff. That's none other than the Winter Soldier. Basically, Winter Soldier's Trooper Fist, which is his shift ability, is getting a new effect. On the second strike, it now applies a 1 second debuff to enemies hit, preventing them from using mobility abilities. This is in turn to help with diving duelists. I'm not really sure why they're adding this to Bucky's kit. Bucky's kit was already extremely good, or the Winter Soldier's kit was extremely good already. He was pretty good at anti-dive and just helping out his team's backline. Now he's going to be even more of a menace to deal with when you're trying to fight him. So you're playing a Black Panther, a Spider-Man, maybe you're playing Psylocke, you're not going to be able to dash away, you're not going to be able to web away fast enough. He should be guaranteeing, after he lands that Trooper Fist, 2 shots instantly, pretty much meaning the absolute certainty of you going back to the respawn screen and swapping to a different character. Now, I'm not really sure why NetEase hates dive so much, but Winter Soldier is going to be a fantastic pick if the enemies are playing dive now, even more so than what he once was. Now, especially with Magic on the rise come Season 4, Winter Soldier is going to be one of those characters that will absolutely shut her down. So I encourage you to pick up Winter Soldier, as he's going to be one of the bigger winners coming Season 4. Moving on to our sixth hero, I'm going into the strategist section, and I think a slept on hero is actually Jeff the Landshark. And for Season 4, especially with the minor buff or new effect he's getting to his ultimate, he's going to be even more impactful than what he once was. Now, a lot of pro teams and high elo teams are running a triple strategist composition with Jeff. You run a Venom Jeff for the team up and a speed boost, and you just run people down. That's the whole idea about these comps, and I think the comp is actually pretty good. It's actually insane. It's what Rad allowed them to win the Marvel Rivals Ignite final. I think the change to Jeff, that he now leaves a healing pool at where he starts his ultimate that heals 100 health per second, is actually pretty good. Now, if you get a Jeff on your team, you can't really say he's throwing or it's a bad pick, because he's kind of has
a defensive strategist ultimate now, but Jeff is still an insane character, especially with this cleave of his primary attack. He gets his ult extremely fast. And I do think there's a lot of cases where this can be extremely beneficial if a Psylocke is diving onto your team and pops her ultimate. Instead of stacking and risking, getting rolled over, you can pop the Jeff ult and then go ult the enemy teammate knowing that everyone's going to be getting healed. I think there are some circumstances where this ability and this character truly shine, and I think Season 4 is really going to allow them to shine even more so. So I definitely recommend getting Jeff into utility belt if you haven't done so already. Now our 7th hero is actually going to be a curveball for me, and I think it's going to be Angela. I think Angela is a very unique and dynamic character that takes a lot of skill, but I feel like in the right hands will be an absolute menace and terror to deal with. Although her damage does look a little bit underwhelming, her utility and rest of her kit definitely make up for it. I think the ability to push enemies out of the way, push them into your teammates, kind of like a hook from Winter Soldier or a pull from Invisible Woman, but on crack. I think the playmaking potential for this character is extremely high, and I think there's a lot of use cases where this character can absolutely shine. I don't see why this character won't be a big contender of being one of the better ones coming this season, especially, again, because of her kit. And she kind of has a mini Groot ult as well, although it's not the same. It definitely acts in similar fashion to where you can pair it up with a lot of characters in the game, whether it's a Phoenix, Moon Knight. You can even throw Winter Soldier into the mix as well. I think this character pairs extremely well with other characters in the same role. And again, the playmaking potential with Angela is extremely high and extremely valuable, so I definitely recommend at least trying her out, seeing if you like her, and picking her up if you can. Now for our 8th hero, it's no surprise, it's a duelist, and it's going to be Phoenix. Phoenix received no changes coming into Season 4, and I think the character is still absolutely broken. It's still probably one of the best, if not the best duelist in the entire game currently, on par with characters like Psylocke, Human Torch, and I think Phoenix slots into the current meta and the meta coming into Season 4 extremely well. I think the meta for Season 4 is going to be a little bit more brawly than isolation picks, because you have Angela going for isolation to pull enemies into your team. And then I say brawler because we're going into more of a magic team composition, so I feel like we're going to be brawling a lot. So I think Phoenix slots very well into that, because for whatever reason, the character is the best hit scan, the best melee character in the entire game. So definitely get Phoenix played, learn her. This character is absolutely insane, and until they actually nerf this character, she's literally like the best duelist in the entire game. So definitely check her out. So moving on to our 9th biggest winter in Marvel Rivals Season 4, it has to be Luna Snow. Look, they did nerf her a little bit. They reduced the fate of both worlds' ultimate ability duration from 12 to 10 seconds. However, that 2 seconds doesn't really change anything in my opinion. The rest of her kit is absolutely insane. She still does a ton of damage, a ton of healing. Her ultimate still does the 40% healing boost and the 40% damage boost. And for the majority of the time, the reason why you're picking Luna Snow is to have this snowflake and to have that ultimate ability with the damaging effect. I don't think the combo of Phoenix Mag with the Luna Snow is going to go anywhere. I think Luna Snow is one of those characters that if they actually want to nerf her and make her not an S tier character anymore, they have to change her healing numbers. That's the only way to properly nerf this character. Besides that, this character is always going to be an S tier character from what I see. I don't think there's a world where she's going to be getting nerfed that she's absolutely unplayable and absolutely garbage. I think right now she still slots perfectly into the S tier category, even with the slight change to her ultimate. And I say she is a big winner because Loki got a slight nerf. That means the Luna Snow is going to be picked even more so now than just a Luna Loki. I think you're going to be looking at Luna Cloak, Luna Invis. I think those are meta strategists, but I still think Loki is decent. But Luna, for sure, going to be one of the top priorities when you're trying to save characters or you're trying to ban characters or you're trying to just play a character. Luna Snow, definitely up there. Now, for our 10th biggest winner, there's a lot of characters I could choose from. For example, I could choose Psylocke. Even though they did slightly nerf her, they decreased the retrieve damage of her wing shurikens per hit from 12 to 8. It did not change any of the kill thresholds that she has. She still has a one-shot combo. All you have to do is add in one extra left click or a quick melee, and it's not the end of the world for any of the Psylocke players. The character is still insanely strong. They didn't touch Human Torch at all, which is honestly kind of insane. This character has been amazing since he got buffed back in season 1.2, 2.5, somewhere around there. The character has still been absolutely insane. But realistically speaking, I'm kind of split into between actually two heroes, both Moon Knight and Scarlet Witch. Now, Moon Knight got somewhat of a buff that he now holds up to 2 charges, each taking 6 seconds to recharge, and that is for his right click. He has 2 Moon Blades, which is kind of insane. This means you're going to do a lot more damage, and you're going to have a lot more uptime with that passive shield that you get from the right click, which is honestly pretty insane and pretty impressive for this character. Then the other character is Scarlet Witch, where she can now be healed by any teammate during the Mystic Projection, which is her shift ability, where previously you couldn't get healed in the phasing out of the realm, but now you can, which I think is a good change. Kind of like Reaper from Overwatch, where he shifts or use whatever the shadow form and he can get healed. I think that's a good addition. Words are hard. Then they're increasing Reality Eraser damage from 800 to 9,999, meaning she will absolutely one-shot you if you're not behind some type of shield or behind some type of cover. You used to previously be able to play Emma Frost and go into diamond form and survive her ultimate. Now that is no longer the case. You will in fact die. Then the last change is that the new effect for her ultimate is that it now pulls in nearby enemies within 15-meter radius during cast charge, the max pull speed up to 2.4 meters per second. Now I think this change is actually very good for Scarlet Witch. However, there is a caveat. What happens if you pull in a character like Emma Frost towards you? She goes into diamond form and she grabs you out of her ultimate. I've always been a person that said, I think for her ultimate, maybe the last couple seconds of the cast charge, she is CC immune or crowd control immune, so she just doesn't get her ult cancelled. When you think about it, that might seem broken, but you have characters like Winter Soldier that is CC immune in the air, and you have other characters that are CC immune as well. But I understand why they didn't do that, because that would be absolutely insane. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, those were my Big 10 winners for the upcoming Season 4. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Like always, make sure to like the video, make sure to subscribe if you're new here or find yourself coming back on the regular and you aren't already. But regardless, I hope you have a safe and great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.